He's the bantamweight UFC champion of the world. We flew him all the way from New York to Calabasas, California. It's Aljamain Sterling on this week's Food Truck Diaries, and I'm feeding him Gordo's hot chicken. Let's go.
Make it big, big, super thick. From my wallet to my check. I don't want it if it's skinny, but I need it if it's thick. Need a thick girl for the thick boy. I need everything I get, super thick boy. You ready?
Used to have a model bitch, now I got a thick one. Yeah, I do. Last night went late, yeah, we had a sick one. Yeah, very drunk. Yeah, and I like
The champ in the rain. Mr. Sterling, what's up, brother?
What's up? How you doing?
Getting a little wet out here, dog.
You know, this is what we do for a living.
You're from New York, though.
Yeah.
The weather out there is not great.
It's okay. Right now, it's actually nice. It's not too cold yet, but it's getting there, getting a little gloomy out.
Hasn't snowed. Now, with your championship status, the champ status, I mean, you've been a champ. Are we thinking of staying in New York, or what are we doing here?
Well, I'm still in Vegas. I split my time half of the year. Vegas, tax reasons.
Smart.
Obviously, the weather is always shining out in Vegas for the
never
most
liked
part.
this in Vegas.
Yeah, it can get a little gloomy in New York, but I still love New York. That's where home is. Got family out there, friends, all that good stuff. But I'm gonna be splitting most of my time over in Vegas.
Yeah. Now, life for the champ is pretty good, my man. Life is good right now. Life is good. And I feel, what's interesting about you, I feel like you were kind of like, I don't want to say hated, but you would feed into it a little bit and you get some hate back. Because with the Peter Yan fight where, you know, he lost on DQ, and then in the rematch, which I had you winning that fight, I didn't have Peter Yan winning that fight, there was like this kind of animosity towards you a little bit, like, oh, he's not the champ, but you definitely were. And then you even doubled down and posted like with the belt and shit, which I loved, right? And then I feel like with this TJ Dillashaw fight, it was one of your first fights where you weren't the heel anymore. Like, you weren't the bad guy. Like, everyone's like, yeah, Aljamain the champ, get him, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like the tide has turned now. Do you feel that or no?
A little bit. I still feel like the TJ fight was like villain versus villain. I still feel like when we walked out to the ceremonial weigh-ins, he got booed, I got booed. It was like a mixture between cheers and boos. I'm like,
People suck, man.
I don't understand like where I sit with the fans anymore. But if you talk shit, I engage with you. You give me positivity, I engage with you.
Yeah.
I've been doing that since the beginning of my career.
Yeah, you have.
I love it. You know, that's what the fans get from this sport. It's not like the NBA
Agree.
where you get no access whatsoever.
Agree.
I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna reason with you,
Good
man
or
to
bad.
man, good or bad. And I don't care. That's just how I am. Some people think I do too much, but
I think
this
you're
is,
right.
I've always
It's
been
working.
like this. So it's like,
Yeah, it's
who
your
cares,
personality.
man? Let me have fun the way I want to have fun. Don't tell me how I should live my life.
Yeah,
Like, what the hell?
also these fans, like, I don't get the backlash too. It's like, well, Peter, you didn't make Peter Yan illegally knee you in the face.
Crazy.
You didn't, I mean, you just did your job in the rematch and controlled him the whole time and had his back.
It's a dangerous dude, man.
The most dangerous.
Yeah, I still think he's one of the most dangerous guys, and I had to nullify him the way I had to nullify him.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at it at all. And I was impressed with Peter Yan able to kind of navigate the waters. Like, when you have, that's your shit. When you have someone's back, like, they're usually screwed. So for you to have that control that many rounds, which I don't see the argument how it was controversial in any facet.
Yeah, and it was 4 takedowns. 4 takedowns, guys.
Correct.
If your hands touch the mat, that's a takedown, college wrestling rules. So they say 2 for 22, 4 for 22, but who's counting, right?
No, it's definitely a win. And then how do you feel about with Yan in his fight against Sean O'Malley? Before you answer, going into it, how did you see that going down?
I didn't know. I felt like both guys had the ability to starch each other. Like, it's a striker versus striker matchup, both are super high level. You can see Yan connecting early, putting him down, and breaking a guy who's never actually been tested yet. And then you can see the other side of it, guy long rangey, and he's very good and very accurate with his shots. And he does a good job of faking where he'll throw something and then come back with another combination and just put it right on your chin and sit guys down.
And did you think it was too much too soon for Sugar?
No.
Because he really hasn't fought, like, you know, that's the online chatters. Oh, he hasn't beat anybody good. You know, he fought Cheeto, right? He fought Pedro Munoz. That didn't go his way.
Nah, I think in the same realm of skill set, both guys are super high level.
Yeah.
What we didn't know about Sugar was, is he as tough as he can be when he's being a hammer?
Agreed.
Whether or not he's going to beat a nail. And I give respect and credit where it's due. I thought he did a phenomenal job. But going into the fight, I had questions about how tough he was. And he showed, like, he took the shots, he weathered the storm, came back.
He showed he belongs.
Exactly.
Showed he belongs. So he's a top 3 guy. They have ranked #1 now.
So he's not all cupcake, you know?
He's not all cupcake. it's not. Don't let that tie-dye hair fool you, man. That boy can fight.
Exactly.
He can fucking fight. Did you have him win the fight?
So when I watched it in the back room, I'm getting ready for my fight. And
Oh, so you probably can't pay that much attention?
yeah, 'cause I'm still warming up, but it's getting me ready for my fight because I'm like, this is potentially who I'm fighting next. And not in the sense of like a winning or a loss, but it's going to dictate a lot, you know. So I want to
100%.
see what's going to happen
Big
with this
time fight in
matchup.
bantamweight.
And just kind of letting me get a refresher in how to remember certain cues, like whether or not they're faking or footwork.
Yeah.
So I like to look at things like that while I'm in the back warming up as well. I watch the fights and it'll just rile me up a little bit in a good place, in a good way. So in the back, I had Jan winning, edging out in a close fight. I thought Jan rounds 1 and 2 and O'Malley 3, but I went back and I watched it on my podcast and I broke it down. I did like a whole fight review and I scored it. And I was like, O'Malley won the fight. O'Malley won the fight, hands
Did the
down.
exact same thing. So
Close.
I was doing a fight companion in Salt Lake City because I was on tour. So we did one in the green room with Frank Mir and Jesse on Fire. So it was the 3 of us, and I was drinking, and it's tough for me to pay attention. Like I'll see certain things, and I would see like Jan get taken. I'm like, ah, damn, because I was rooting for Sugar, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'd see all this stuff, and then we go round by round, and then at the end of it, I go, okay, how do you guys score it? And Frank and Jesse on Fire, who's an MMA head, they're like, oh, Jan won that, or they're like, Sugar won that fight. I'm like, really? I feel like Peter. I was like, don't quote me on that. So I saw the control of the takedown, so I'd probably give it to Peter. And then when I saw the Twitter talk coming on, and people were like, I have Sugar 2 to 3. I'm like, oh, he might have won this thing. Then when we announced him, we just went nuts.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I got to rewatch it. Went back and rewatched it. I had Sugar edging out that first round. Second round, Peter all day. Third round, Sugar all day.
Yeah.
So 2-3.
And Jan's fight with myself in that rematch, same thing. He starts off slow, even though he tried to be more aggressive, but
This is 3 rounds.
he gets behind on points. And the same thing I said, like breaking down that fight, I said it's going to come down to who could score early, and O'Malley was able to score more. Even though he got the takedown wasn't devastating because he landed on his hands.
He didn't do any
and
control.
got right
And then
back
remember,
up.
Sugar got a takedown in the first round too.
Yeah.
The round ended with him taking him down.
Exactly. And with the takedowns, you gotta, what did you do with it? If I
Agreed.
took you down and slammed your ass on the ground, okay, that's bonus points. But he just
the
it was a
difference,
nice
but
takedown.
also the difference. People were like, "Oh, well, Aljamain, when you took down Peter, you know, you didn't finish him. You weren't landing big shots.
Punch that motherfucker though.
Punch also controlled him the entire time.
Yeah.
On his back is the most dominated position besides mount. Like that's considered winning the round.
Yeah.
Just a takedown, you do nothing with it. And the guy's landing more significant shots. I always give that guy the round.
Yeah. If I take you down in the street and I held you down like Matt Serra did that guy at the restaurant, and I'm just holding you down laughing as you're bucking up and trying to move, and I'm just giggling like, oh, look at you, you're so cute.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think is happening right now?
Yo,
You can't do anything.
No, and when you get in the car, if your boys are like, "You won that, man."
Yeah, exactly.
You know, never.
You're not gonna say this guy, oh, you didn't do anything. I caressed your back and you did nothing about it.
So that leads me to this for your next fight, and I actually like where your head's at. What I see on Twitter and in the headlines, I like that you're not rushing back into fighting because of your camps, but looking at the landscape. I would assume, especially for you, you want the most money possible, the biggest name, and a good fight. To me, that's Sugar. He checks all those boxes. Because you can get, you know, if you're a pay-per-view guy and you want points, Sugar's bringing the audience. Out of all the names I can offer you, Sugar's by far your biggest name.
That's what I would think, but then I'm hearing the other side that people think it's Cejudo based on his accolades, but I'm like, the guy hasn't fought in almost 3 years, and it seems like no one cares, in my personal opinion, like what I see. But I could be completely wrong.
I don't think you're wrong. I think, and so I love Cejudo. There's no shade here at all. But if you're comparing as far as like a numbers wise, Cejudo to Sugar, Sugar's current. He's coming off that huge Peter Yan win.
Yeah.
To me, that equals numbers. And
That's what I want.
Cejudo's not going anywhere. And I like
That's what I want.
Yeah, that's what we want. I want that for you, and I want that for Sugar. I love both you guys.
And
I think it's a great style matchup.
Sugar should get pay-per-view points as well, so I will give him that notion because he will be driving that as well. And I think
UFC's even
anyone,
go, no.
I know anyone on a pay-per-view card. If you're on a pay-per-view card, you're on a pay-per-view card for a reason, right?
Yes.
So I think you should be getting some type of cut from that. You don't
I
have
like
to.
that.
You shouldn't always have to be the champ in order to
Yeah.
get points, or
Yeah.
Masvidal or Nate
Yep.
Diaz.
Agreed.
So I like that matchup, and Sugar could go out there. He could beat me. He could starch me, catch me early. I could take him down and make it a quick night. It's one of those matchups where it could go drastically one way or drastically the other way. So I think he still has a chance.
It's a great fight. I think it'd be good for you. I think you do have more fans on your side now after that TJ Dillashaw fight. I think you're out there more and like you're such a good dude. The people that hate on you, it's gonna be tough to hate on you now. I think you've showed your true skill set after, you know, the fights with Peter Yan, the fight with TJ, and then with Suga and his fan base. To me, that's gangbuster. We going Sizzler.
Yeah.
You're buying that Aventador, dog. You know what I'm saying? Let me feed you, because I could talk to you all day. Let me feed you some hot chicken from my friends at Gordo's, all right? And then we'll dry off and go inside.
Chef it up.
How you doing, brother?
How are you?
Good to see you again, man.
Thank you for having us again.
I
bro.
got a champ for you this time.
Yeah, perfect.
And he doesn't have a fight coming up for a while, so we can eat.
Perfect, Gordo.
We can eat. You know what you want?
I'm looking at the number 3, combo 3.
Yep.
That's looking like
That's a classic.
that's gonna be money. And I'll do the mac and cheese.
Perfect. 1 3-finger. What spice, bro? We got anywhere from no spice, mild, regular, spicy to Gordo killer. That's our biggest.
That sounds crazy.
Do you eat spicy stuff?
I do, but that's more my fiance, so I'll do the mild. Mild is a lot. Yeah. I don't want to pay for it later.
Yeah, you don't want to pay for it on that 6-hour plane back to New York.
What about you,
I'll
bro?
do the number 1.
Number 1.
And I'll do it spicy. Not the Gordo spicy. I'm not trying to have issues either.
Perfect.
And then can I also do the chicken tenders?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the combo too.
Yeah.
And those spicy as well.
Yeah, perfect. And then we'll also throw in a loaded fries so you guys could try it out as well.
Okay, might as well,
100%.
man.
Yeah.
Push
Yeah.
ourselves today.
Perfect.
You want to throw in like 2 extra tenders in there too?
Of course. Extra
Right,
sauce too.
Yeah, I don't gotta make weight right now, you know.
Perfect.
You're gonna be fighting at 55. You keep hanging out with me,
I
man.
know.
That super fight. That
I'm
super
already
duper fight.
170 pounds, and everyone's like, "Oh, you should fight in February." I'm like, "You think I want to do that weight cut right now?" No, I
Oh,
do
we'll
not.
get to that. That drives me nuts.
Yeah,
That drives
crazy.
me nuts. Yeah, you were Shredville on that scale. You look jacked.
It's a hefty weight cut. It's a
Yeah.
hefty weight cut.
You look good though.
All right, 2
Yeah.
3 fingers and sound.
That's it, brother. Thank
Perfect.
you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
That's Gordo himself, dog. I'm
Yeah.
talking to the man. That's Gordo himself. Let's take a little break from chatting my boy, the champ Al Joe. My boy, it's never too early to play holiday music. It's never too early to start thinking about the gifts for your friends, especially your bro friends, all right? We got you guys because we're all worried about below the waist there. We're all thinking about it. We're worried if you have a bush, how that's going to go over. So listen, my friends at Manscaped got you covered with the Lawnmower 4.0 to avoid another silent night in the bedroom, all right? Then add in Manscaped's top-of-the-line shower products to have the people thinking, all I want for Christmas is you, baby. Santa cares about his sack, and so should you. Look nice when you get naughty and get free shipping with 20% off by going to manscaped.com. Get that Manscaped Platinum 4.0 package. It's the one-stop shop for dudes who deserve it all right? It has everything you need to help you deck the halls from face to balls, just in time for the mistletoe seasons. The Platinum package has everything in it. They got the best-selling performance package, plus ultra-premium body wash, ultra-premium 2-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, premium deodorant, all right? You get the Lawnmower 4.0. You get the freaking nose and ear whacker treatment. We got you guys covered. And you get the Crop Reviver Tone Ball deodorant, and you get a little thing to put it all into, a little freaking bag to put all your goodies in. All right? Manscaped is the one-stop shop. What else you going to use? Quit nicking your nuts. Quit bleeding for no reason. It has a flashlight. You can do it in the shower whenever you're ready to go. All you got to do is get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/Schaub, S-C-H-A-B. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com/Schaub. Manscaped, get your jingle balls ready for the holidays. This episode of the Food Truck Diaries, my boy Al Joe, is brought to you by the best kratom on the planet. Listen, if you want to get focused, you want to quit using all this other stuff that you don't know if it works, and you're worried about, oh, I don't know, I've heard some things about kratom, but I don't know if it actually works. Well, you got to use one brand only. We're talking about Happy Hippo. And when you visit happyhippo.com, use promo code Thicccboy. You get 20% off for life. You can use that code as many times as you want. Share with your friends, your aunt, your cousins, your nephews. I don't care who it is. If you're thinking about using kratom, there's only one brand. That's Happy Hippo. happyhippo.com. They have the shots. They got the gels. They got the gummies. They got the pills, the powders. We got it all, and you can trust them. Happy Hippo. I use the cherry flavored, really concentrated kratom shot before I do any show. So visit Happy Hippo. Be like your boy. Visit happyhippo.com. Use promo code Thiccboy. 20% off for life. Now let's get back to the program. All right, my man. This looks pretty messy.
Yes.
You wore the right color clothing if this does get messy. I do have a white shirt, but whatever, man. I'm fat, so it's an excuse. Let's do it, dude.
But the deed has to be done.
It does. We have to get into this, man. Now, Gordo's one of my favorite because it's all in the bun, dude. It's all in the bun. New York, you guys have good food, so you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes. But I don't eat the green stuff, so I should have told him to hold the coleslaw and all that, but
You don't eat anything green?
barely. That's how I stay so ripped, you know? Okay, that's good.
It's one of my favorites. It's so messy. Mine's so hot.
That's why I got the tenders.
So
A
spicy.
little bit easier.
Mine's so spicy. I
right?
made a mistake. Professional though, I'll get through it. Yeah, because you don't have a fight coming up, so we can eat like this. But this is how you should be eating after a championship fight. Got another ruby on the belt. Doing your thing, having a little fun, hanging with celebrities in LA, doing the damn thing, man. When you think about fighting, I think it's funny, right? Because they were like, oh, Henry Cejudo, Aljamain in, what was it, February in Australia. I think on Twitter you put kick rocks, not happening. I'll be ready in June, which is hilarious. I don't think people realize, like, they watch the TJ fight and they see you dominate and like, oh, he's healthy, he's ready to get back in there. It's like, no, you don't see the camp. The camp and for you to cut to 135, like people don't realize the amount and the beating your body takes going through those camps.
And the guys I train with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you're saying, the camps are tough. I'm going with killers. Rob Duvall is not an easy out for anybody. I could show you video
Oh,
footage
he's coming.
of him sparring with this guy. He'll do 3 rounds. This guy's done on the floor, laying down, takes his gloves off. He might not even take his gloves off. He's just laying down trying to get air. And then he'll go spar with this guy. And then he'll go spar with another guy. And then he'll look around and he'll just be like, is there nobody left?
Like,
That's
no,
Merab. That's
there's
Merab.
not, Merab.
Yeah.
There's none left. We're trying to chill, dude.
And that's who I'm sparring with. You know,
And what's his ethnicity? Where's he from?
Georgia, the country of Georgia.
Yeah, man, that whole area. That whole area scares me. All of it. They're just savages.
I got some high-level training partners, man. Dennis Bazookia. I had JP Bays helping me down when I was in Vegas, giving me that TJ Dillashaw look.
Yeah.
Did a great job with that. Merab was there for the pressure of the
But
wrestling.
with Merab, it's he's coming, dude.
Yeah.
Like winter is coming. Merab is coming.
Oh, yeah.
So it's only a matter of time. Have you guys talked about that?
It's a cold storm he's going to
It's a
bring.
cold storm. Yeah, cold, hairy storm. Have you guys talked about that? So hairy. So hairy.
Right?
Have you guys talked about that? Because it's different when you're training partners. Like, I don't like when training partners have to fight each other. But if it's for a belt, then we're talking about life-changing for both of you guys.
Yeah.
So that's when it gets dicey.
100%. We've talked about it
Do you
a
not like
a
this
little
question?
bit. I mean,
is it awkward?
it's not awkward. It's just like, it's not a real reality until he's like there, where they're like, okay, he's the next guy we're going to give the shot to. Then it's like, okay, we need to really figure out what the hell we're going to do. Before this fight, it was kind of like, dude, I could go out there and I could lose to TJ, and then the door is wide open for him, and I would help him the same way he's been helping me. So there's that. But obviously now I won, so that puts him obviously in a weird spot, and that's just the reality of it. But it's also about the performance, because you know how the UFC works. If he went out there and killed Jose Aldo, he's next in line, 100%. But then it's like, all right, Merab, we need to figure out what we're going to do. Am I going to go up? Are you going to go down?
Yep.
Are we going to secretly do an interim title?
Yeah.
So and am I going to be injured?
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
Am I
I'm
gonna
just
take a little break, a long extended break while you figure this out? No, but I like your mentality. Like,
That's my brother,
deal with
man.
it when it comes.
Yeah.
You have enough things to worry about right now. Deal when it comes. Because, you got guys like, obviously, Henry Cejudo wants that fight. You talked about taking a break. I think it's funny, too, because the fans don't understand, unless you're close to the sport, it's usually not the fight. Yeah, there's some wars, which, there's a reason why the commissions give it a 6-month suspension. But your fight, even with TJ, it was the camp that did it. So you deserve that rest. And also being champ, you don't want to be too active as a champ. Because you're fighting the best of the best. If you were to lose a fight, not that I think you're going to lose, but if you were to lose the fight, then you're getting, you're getting pay-per-view points, you're getting the same recognition. So there's a lot that goes when you're a champ, based on what fights you're going to take. So you got to be smart about that. But it's also with like, and I'd love your stance on this, with TJ Dillashaw, who's my boy. I'll be completely honest with you. I love TJ.
Yeah.
We have the same coach. That's my guy. Yeah, that's my guy. I'm biased as fuck when I make picks. Like I hate picking against anybody. But TJ's a legit friend of mine. And he trains with my old coach, Leister Bowling. And, you know, people are so upset at TJ because they're like, you know, he came out after the fight and was like, you know, I had one shoulder. It kept popping out in camp. Everyone's like, oh, you robbed us of this fight, stuff like that. Here's my,
he pulled out that laundry list quick from his crotch.
Yeah, I mean, he was hurt though, right? But this isn't any disrespect towards you. That's a tough match. There's a reason why the odds makers had you as a favorite, not knowing that he had one shoulder. Like, you're the best in the world for a reason. So that was a tough fight whether TJ had 3 arms, 2 arms, 1 arm. I don't care about that. But the backlash that TJ's getting, I think it just, you know, obviously because him popping hot for PEDs, that it just gives people another reason. Like, oh, you robbed us on a fight. You should have pulled out of that fight having one shoulder. But you don't get to that level and not think you can't win a fight based off an injury. You just,
Exactly.
and I think it's hard for just regular people that go, hold on, you have 1 arm? Why would you rob this, dude? TJ, he didn't become world champion of the bantamweight division by, you know, taking the easy way out. Like, he literally thought, all right, it did pop out in camp, but I'm still winning rounds. Maybe I won't feel it as much when I get in there. Unfortunately, he goes in there, throws that kick, you take him down, he posts his arm, it pops out, and then you just mollywop him, which was so rude.
It was a little disrespectful. But
I was like, geez, the mount the entire first round.
I give TJ credit for sticking it out and being tough and allow me to give him the lickings that he deserved.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, he allowed me to punch him because most guys in that position would have just tapped out and found a way to cover up or just lift their neck up like, I'm defending, but no, I couldn't get out of this
Or they'll wave
choke.
it off so they don't take damage,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't solidify you really. Like, I like that TJ was like, all right,
was a man about
this is
it.
what it is.
We both talked shit, and he was a man about it, took his lickings like a man. But to say like 2 shoulders or 3 or 4 would have changed the fight, I'm like, that is my best position. You're not turning into my guard. You're not escaping and shrimping. I get that body lock triangle on just about anybody, even if they're heavier weight classes. I've sparred with bigger guys. I get them in that position. They usually end up on bottom when the round's over, or like if it was a fight and we're sparring, I'm punching the ground out. You're not even getting out of this position, and the sparring session has to stop, and then we start back on the feet.
No, I think, I mean, when you get somebody's back and, you know, you have their back like that, even, you know, these outliers who are, you know, ADCC champs and stuff like that, I think you're the best in the world on somebody's back.
Thank
I mean,
you.
look what you've done to a number of guys, Sandahagen, and a number of these dudes. You get on somebody's back. That's why I earned more respect for Peter Yan to have you on his back that long, defend him. Like, people have no idea how hard that is to defend.
Yeah.
You know?
Jan was smart though, because he did a 2-on-1 just about the entire
Baseball
time.
bat.
Or he clamped down on my wrist, not allowing me to pull my arms out when I had the wrist control. That's smart. Kills the time, saves him from any punishment.
Yes.
It saves him from me advancing to a mount position where I could punch him out like I was starting to do, and then he rolled through, and then I had to change the positioning. And from there, I had his back, and it's a little bit harder to do damage in that position, especially when they're holding the wrist.
But you're winning.
But you're winning. So people that were complaining about that one too, it's just like, you guys don't even understand what's actually going on. It's such a high-level chess match. If Jan makes one mistake,
It's over.
the fight's over.
It's over.
If TJ has 2 good arms, he thinks he can now shrimp and turn to stand up. He gives up his neck.
Correct.
He gives up a guillotine choke.
He's compromised.
Situations that we drilled over and over and over that I'm like, this is going to be game over if we end up in this position. It's checkmate.
You're also the best in the world at it. Like, straight up, like, you get somebody's back, like, it's a world. Like, I'm sure whether it's, you know, Sugar, Henry Cejudo, like, don't let him get your back, man.
Thank you.
Like, do not let this guy get your back.
Yeah, it's we put
So,
a lot
but
of hours
did
in.
you have any animosity towards TJ when you heard when he's like, I had one shoulder?
Not animosity, but I was a little tight. I was like, yo, that's a bitch move, bro. Because you came at me the entire training camp saying you're building in excuses. I'm like, dude, I'm saying what I think is possible. I think that there's a real life possibility that you're cheating still.
Yeah.
And you're finding another way to get around it. As per your team has said, they disclosed this, that he
team
was
did?
cheating since like I think they said like college. College wrestling, he came over and was showing these guys how to like do the dosing or whatever. So your teammate said this, not me. So take that up with them with your former teammates.
Yeah.
And then
Is that like Cody Garbrandt stuff, the boys from Alpha Male?
yeah.
I take all that with a grain of salt, though. They hate each other.
But then there's other people within that realm who've also said the same thing.
Gotcha.
So then
Yeah.
from them, like, well, where there's smoke, there's fire. They can't all
Yeah.
be lying and just all hate TJ to that
Well,
extent where they're just gonna make shit up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, there's a possibility that he might be cheating. So I gotta consider that. But at the same time, it's like I fought other guys who probably were cheating, and it doesn't matter.
100%.
I take my loss like a man. I take my win like a man. And that's it. You know, I may be parading around, but after you finish somebody, you want to have a little fun, let that out.
You've earned it.
10 weeks, 8 weeks, however long the training camp is.
So you wish TJ just didn't say anything? You wish like he was just like just took the loss?
Just say the better man won tonight.
Yeah.
When Jan was kicking my ass in that first fight, I said what happened. I said I made a miscalculation, but that's on me. It's not Jan's fault. It's my fault. I take full responsibility. He was starting to kick my ass later in the fight, and it was getting very, very one-sided.
Yeah.
You could say my punches weren't effective, but it was starting. I was still working.
Yeah.
But I wasn't gonna quit. I wasn't gonna roll over. I took my beating like a man, and I was trying to still find a way to win the fight. And I said he was better that night, but he made a mistake, and it gave me an opportunity to do it the right way.
Yep.
And then the rest is history. So
Yep.
for him, say whatever you want about the shoulder, but I guarantee you were winning sparring sessions, and it gave you the confidence to go, I can win this fight.
That's what he's saying. He was like, and everyone upset at me. He was like, in sparring, I was fine. I was winning. I was beating world-class guys,
Exactly.
even though my shoulder's compromised. So that's why I'm not mad that he said that, because he to his point was like, no, don't get it twisted. I'm still a world-class fighter, even though
Yes.
my shoulder was quote-unquote injured, and Aljamain still beat me. Sterling still beat me even with this one shoulder. You know?
I agree. I just think the way he said it came off like a little sour.
But you can understand why he would still take the fight even with one shoulder.
Oh,
At his
100%.
age, like, and my point to it was like, all right, it sucks. He had one shoulder, his shoulder blew out. But at his age, like the chances of him, which is a redemption story, the chances of him getting back to this point, if he pulled out, are not good. There's so many monsters looming in those shadows in the bantamweight division, so he has to take advantage of it. And he legit in his head thought he could beat you.
Yeah.
Legit. 100%.
And that's why I try to explain to people. I'm like, I go through these training camps with injuries, and I have to decide whether or not I want to continue. And if I get through the sparring sessions, that means I could get through the fight.
Yep.
So if he got through the sparring sessions, he probably thought he could win the fight.
I mean, that's like, for instance, Ngannou, his last fight against Cyril Gane.
ACL.
He blew out his ACL. Couldn't walk, couldn't spar, couldn't do any training. He called Kamaru Usman to tell him they're close. He called Kamaru, and Kamaru was like, bro, I haven't been able to run in years. Like, I've had training camps where but my knees were so bad or my shoulder was so bad, I couldn't even spar, I couldn't train nothing. He's like, but mentally, I still went in there knowing I could win. He's like, and I found a way to win. He's like, so don't let this be a reason you pull out a fight. So if every fighter disclosed their injuries every time, I think the fans would be shocked.
Yeah.
So it's very rare a fighter goes into camp full health.
These guys, the fans, sometimes they could be a little relentless because they don't understand, like, this is our livelihood. We need to put food on the table.
Yes.
We need to provide for our families, especially when you have a little one, like TJ does. So I
True.
respect him as that and family man. Like, I don't need to discredit him and like the stuff that he's done and accomplished to big myself up. I can give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
I
TJ's a beast, one of the best to ever do it. And
Exactly.
He beat him.
And I think he wholeheartedly thought he could beat me the way he was. And then I didn't like how he kind of shitted on Garbrandt, saying like I beat him with 2 blown out shoulders. I'm like, okay, well, if you beat him with 2 blown out shoulders, don't make the excuse now that your shoulder's been coming out and you lost.
That
like,
makes sense.
At the end of the day, you lost. Just take the L.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna come back better, rehab, and just go through the
I
process.
think for TJ too, knowing him, like he's such a savage in training camp. He's put so many miles on himself during training camps.
I'm gonna say the PEDs probably played a little bit of a factor.
Maybe, you
Little
know,
degradation right there.
yeah.
I gotta throw that in there.
I just disappear. I'm out. Like the meme, I just disappear.
Like the Homer Simpson.
Yeah, just into the bushes. No, I think, but he goes so hard in the paint, it's like these injuries are catching up with him. Like Corey Sandhagen blew out his knee, beat him, and he beat Corey Sandhagen in one knee. Listen, if you haven't started shopping yet, I got the perfect gift for you guys out there, guys and gals. All right, wireless earbuds are expensive, and listen, my ears are all messed up, so you need some that fit. Maybe you got small ears, large ears. My friends at Raycon got the perfect gift, and right now you can shop early, skip the stress, snag some of the best deals of the season on something everyone will love. We're talking about premium audio products from Raycon. when you're looking for a gift for everyone, all right, you're looking for a stocking stuffer, Raycons are the way to go. Their wireless earbuds are the only earbuds I can put in my freaking weird ears. Their headphones and speakers, their premium sound, useful features. They also custom, all right, comfortable fit, and up to 54 hours of battery life. All right, we got you guys covered. Plus, Raycon makes it easy with holiday gift guides for everyone in your life. Dads, moms, coworkers, maybe there's some girl you want to impress. Get her this cool gift, all right? Right now, go to buyraycon.com/Schaub, S-C-H-A-B. Get 20% off site-wide, the entire site, 20% off any Raycon product, which never happens, so don't miss out, all right, to save big and shop stress-free this holiday season. Or saving bigger and get 3% off Raycon's exclusive holiday bundles. When you bundle it in more than one thing, bundle it together, you get 30% off. That's buyraycon.com/Schaub for 20% off your Raycon purchase. Buyraycon.com/Schaub. Listen, we all want to get in that zone. We all want to be productive. You want your brain firing at the highest capabilities. That's why you need nootropics. But not just any nootropics. You need Alpha Brain from my friends at Onic. My brother from another mother, comedian podcaster Joe Rogan, says it helps him form better sentences when he's talking. Now listen, it's nootropics. And you're like, yeah, but I'm very sensitive to caffeine. It's caffeine free. And I'm so damn sure of their Alpha Brain, you get your money back. No refund necessary. You get your money back. You can keep the bottle. Tell them why you didn't like it. It's not fit for you, which you're going to love it, but no return necessary. Keep it. Keep it. That's how sure they're going to love it, man. You guys are going to love Alpha Brain, and you can save 10% off the entire Onnit website on kettlebells, steel club maces, workout gear, workout nutrition. We're talking protein powder, protein bites, warrior bars, Alpha Brain, everything 10% off. Or you can go to Walmart and just pick up Alpha Brain. Help your boy out here. Help your boy out. Save 10% off by going to onnit.com/FTD, all right? Or swing by your local Walmart and pick some up today. But use onnit.com/FTD and save 10% off Alpha Brain, the best nootropic on the planet, from my friends at Onnit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, get you some, man. It's time to celebrate.
Yeah. I'm going to take a little bit of this. I know we put some in here already, but I'm going to...
I put like a full glass in for you. I just want to make sure you get the full spectrum there.
Show the guys.
But this is so hot.
Try a little Thicccboy magic.
Jesus
Pause.
Christ. I mean, I'm trying to hold it together over here. I'm gonna use an excuse, too. If this interview goes bad, I'm like, man, I'm blaming it on the sandwich. I'm just going to take the easy way out. But like, the sandwich was too hot. I blew up my...
I think this is actually my third time, so cheers.
Cheers, brother. Good to see you again, man. Yeah, you too, brother. The champ.
Yeah.
Smooth, daddy.
Yeah, it is. It actually is really smooth.
Pride ourselves
I didn't know what to expect, to be 100%
I'm
honest.
with you. There's a lot of people out there with alcohol. It could get a little dicey.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse when your friend creates an alcohol. He's like, try it, and on air, y'all. It's good, dude. It's smooth. It's smooth. Yeah, it's not good. I don't want to announce your stuff until too early, but I'm excited for some stuff you have in the works.
Oh,
you're a little entrepreneur yourself, man.
I'm trying.
You're a beast.
I'm trying to make a rum right now, so hopefully when I go down to Jamaica, we can find a company that can do the bottling and distilling for us, and then just keep it more authentic. My grandparents, my parents are both from Jamaica, so I would like to keep my ties to that country.
And I like it because it's authentic, too, because a lot of people, you see a lot of celebrities, whoever they are, like, oh, I came out with a vodka or tequila. It's like, you didn't even drink that stuff.
Yeah.
But they're just doing it for the money, you know what I'm saying? So that never works out. But back to fighting. So, TJ fight, you look phenomenal. I mean, best body at bantamweight we've seen in a hot second. You know, not to get weird on you, but you look jacked as hell in that. So now you're sitting back. People want to see you fight. We talked about
in February.
In February, not happening. So kick rocks, as you said. You know, so for you to maybe fight in June, you know, you got the Henry Cejudos of the world, right? Mm-hmm. Any interest in Henry Cejudo?
See, here's my stance with Cejudo. I feel like no one really cares, except the diehard fans. But I could be completely wrong. Tough competitor. I think it would be a tough fight.
He's a good fighter.
I do think I will have the recognizable on TV size advantage. Mm-hmm. And I think in person, I think
height, speed,
we'll see the physicality.
Yeah.
He keeps talking about this wrestling background. I'm like, well, that doesn't have any real bearing on the fight when you have another high-level wrestler. Uh-huh. I mean, if we had a wrestling match, I'm like, Cejudo, how badly do you think you would win? Or how badly would you actually lose? Like, what do you actually think would happen if we just straight up wrestled? You know?
Yeah, my only pushback with that, and tell me if I'm completely wrong, because I don't have a wrestling background. I wrestled for a long time, but not at your level, especially not at Henry Cejudo's level. You know, I think being an Olympic champion, you know, and competing at the Olympic level, a little different than collegiate level, right? Some outliers, like Bo Nickel, you know? Like those outliers. Yeah, freestyle.
Folk style wrestling is what I did in college and high school.
Gotcha.
Henry didn't do folk style in college. He did freestyle.
Freestyle, yeah.
Went right to the Olympics.
Yeah.
So it's a little different style. That's why my back riding, pause, is high level. Because we wrestle on top. We're allowed to wrestle in the top position. We
Get
can throw
control.
legs in.
Yep.
And that's why I think if we wrestled, I'd beat him, depending on the style that we competed in. Or if we fight, like, what does he do to win? He keeps saying all this. Like, what do? Do you keep it standing, or are you going to try to knock me out?
Yeah. You probably have an advantage on
I
the
should
feet.
probably chew my food first, right? Sorry,
you,
guys.
you definitely have, breaking that fight, you definitely have an advantage on the feet. That's
Yeah.
what you do all day, yeah.
But he thinks,
Speed advantage.
I think for him, his mental toughness is the most impressive thing about
That's
him.
what makes him an outlier. Him and DC just, they don't quit. You know?
Exactly.
They're savages when it comes to that.
But it would be a tough fight. But I think I have a lot more tools to win, where for him, I think his tool of winning is he needs to get me in a tough spot so he can land heavy damage. I mean, how much shots do I actually take in my fights? Discrediting the Jan fight, like, if you don't include that one, where I said, like, my rehydration process felt like I was still cutting weight in the middle, like during the fight,
Jesus.
from the beginning of the day till the fight.
The only knock you have on is the Marlon fight, right?
That was it.
That's it.
So,
that
and
could
that's
happen
one
to
shot.
That could happen to anybody.
One shot.
I don't give a shit.
And me not paying Marlon any mind and discrediting him and then making a shitty mistake and just rushing in, and you're supposed to have those fight day nerves. That fight I didn't have that. I just kind of went in there super cocky.
That's when you know you're
and I
gonna
got
lose.
and I got
Yeah.
humbled,
Especially
really
at his
quick.
level, yeah.
Yeah, so
But that's good for you. That's what allowed you to be champ now. You need that to happen.
Yeah, so that made me better in the sense of my mental preparation, and I learned, like, you got to check your attitude and your ego at the door whenever you step into that
Especially
cage.
at your level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's big prices that you have to pay, and it's with your brain cells, So I learned from that. Marlon was better that night, and hats off to him. But with Henry, I look at it like, what would be your advantages to winning? And I have to be honest with myself, my skill set and his. And to be fair, he beat Dominic Cruz coming off the couch. Dominic Cruz took a great opportunity to fight for a world title on short notice.
Correct.
So it's like, who wouldn't take that opportunity? You get a crazy pay bump, right? You get a chance to possibly become champ again.
Yep.
And that means you get pay-per-view points if you do win. Who's not taking that chance?
Yep.
Like, let's call it what it is. And he said to me, if you make that choice to step into the octagon, that's on you. So I go, okay. So TJ made the same decision to step into the octagon.
Yeah.
That's on him, right?
Yeah.
So we have to, but still, we still have to assess these differences in these fights, these variables. So I go, okay, you had a fight that went that way based on this. I do think if you fought Dominic Cruz where he is now, before the Cheeto knockout, obviously, I think it's a different fight.
Yes.
Because now he's got his feet wet. He's been more active,
Yep.
but he's also at the upper echelon of his career.
Yep.
But
It'd be a different fight for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying he still wins. I still think
Be
Henry
tough.
probably still
Yeah.
wins the fight.
Yep.
But it is what it is. Henry won, and you can't take that away from the guy on paper.
So
He's the champ. He won.
Would you say in order for Henry to fight you probably need a win over, I don't think Sugar would fight him. I don't think UFC would do that to Sugar.
Any fight.
Anybody.
Just any fight.
Cheeto, anyone.
Show
in
the
top
fans you're
five.
serious. Show
Yeah.
me you're serious. 'Cause I'm just like, I look at him and I can't take him serious. I really can't. And there's no disrespect.
No, I get it. I think because, he is silly on there, he talks a lot of shit.
And I'm silly too.
You're silly too.
As they call cringe.
Yeah, yeah.
I just like to have a good
It's
time.
like
I like
King
to be
Cringe versus
silly.
what King Cringe versus.
Versus cringe god is what
Yeah,
they're calling
I
us
don't
now.
know
I'm
what
like,
the kids
okay.
I don't know what the kids are
I said
saying.
thank you to somebody. They told me that was cringe. I was like,
This is so
you guys
cringy.
just say
Say
cringe for
thanks.
anything.
It's overused now.
Yeah.
You guys won the
like
cringe word
epic.
out. Yeah.
It's like epic.
Yeah, that's out too. That's out. Yeah, so I think for Henry, if he were to get a win over that, I can see that, but I think too, sometimes people don't take him serious. Like when I had Volkanovski in here, and remember Henry Sue was talking shit to Volkanovski, and he just shed a light on this, so I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Because I was like, in the interview, I was like, what do you think coming off big win? What do you think about, fighting Henry Cejudo? And he's like, bro, I don't want to answer that. He's not even the testing pool. So he's talking all this shit, and he's not even I don't entertain it because it's not real. Until he goes through that, then I'll entertain it. And I was like, he's not in the test pool? He's like, no, bro. So he's 6 months out. I'm supposed to fight in 2 to 3 months. I'm not even entertain it. It's not an option. I was like, oh, I didn't think of that. So I think Henry Cejudo's asked for all these fights before, right? But it wasn't a legit option because he wasn't even in the testing pool. Now he's back in there. I'm interested to see what the UFC wants to do. I heard the UFC from sources really wanted you versus Cejudo, but if I'm you, it just again it's a numbers thing. You want the biggest fight possible. Sugar's the bigger fight. Sugar's the biggest fight. There's a lot of hype on Sugar right now, right?
I like Sugar Tits. I think he's a very well-renowned guy. I think he's talented. He's doing a lot of things outside of fighting, which makes him super popular. They compare him to Conor, which I don't get. Because Conor's like funny and witty, I feel like Sugar's more like silly. Like he does this stuff where he's smoking weed, he's shadow boxing with one glove on,
So,
the other
yeah.
hand's blowing, smoking the
they're
joint.
They're completely different. Maybe I guess the comparison because he makes a lot of money. There's knockout. Well, Sugar can have a ton of knockouts, but especially at Conor's level. But there's also maybe a similarity because he makes so much money outside of the octagon. But outside that, they can be more upset.
Yeah, there's nothing similar whatsoever.
You're the most rich.
Yeah, I don't
White.
know. They compare him to Conor. I'm like, it's the weirdest comparison because Conor's actually a funny motherfucker. Like, Sugar's just like he does silly things that I just find funny.
Yeah,
and he's a cool dude.
Yeah, Sugar's great.
But I think that's a big fight, and I think if I'm gonna be champ, I'm gonna take the fight because I could lose the next fight. I could go on a crazy skid and lose the next 3 or 4.
It's a business, brother.
That's how it goes.
It's a business, and as a business move, and it's no shade on Henry Cejudo. He's such a Henry Cejudo is such a savage and deserves all the respect. But if I'm in the business of Aljo, the business move is Sugar. As far as getting viewership, pay-per-view buys, the magnitude of the fight, everyone's tuning to see what Sugar does next, and you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If we're gonna get into the thick of it, pun intended. I'm
3 C's thick, and seeing it thick.
I definitely think this Sean O'Malley fight, and Dana said it. I think he didn't think I was going to do what I was going to do, and then obviously he didn't know what was going to happen with TJ and his pre-existing injury or whatever. And I don't think he thought O'Malley was going to win, so he probably thought they could at least do the trilogy with myself. And they thought they had really good options, and I don't know what the difference is now. I still think it's a good fight. I still think a lot of people will tune into
Which
this
fight?
with myself and O'Malley.
Oh, 100%. It's the biggest fight they can make. They know that.
Yeah.
They're just playing hardball. They know that.
Which I don't.
We all fucking know this.
So I just don't get it. Like, if you think O'Malley can win, he's going to definitely do the work. He's got Augusto Taquino Mendez, who I fought also, ADCC world champion, and I beat him in, like, the grappling department for the majority of the fight. He did go for a leg lock. He tried to say I grabbed the cage. I didn't grab the fucking cage. But I beat the guy over 15 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's his training partner.
that's his training partner who still competes in jiu-jitsu, and he's got a good guy to, like, reference for, like, back control and things like that. So
Yeah.
it would be an interesting fight. And I don't necessarily want to fight in June. It was just a month I threw out there.
You would
So I'm
fight
like,
before that? You just don't want to fight in February.
Yeah, I don't want to travel, one. That's one. And I'm being completely honest with the viewers. I don't want to travel again, spend 20 grand plus just to go to an overseas fight and make all the accommodations
It's
like I
in
had to
Perth,
do last
right?
time. It's in Perth.
No.
I go to visit.
Here's my yeah, 100%.
Go to visit.
Australia's fantastic. Here's the thing. My thing with that, as a champion, they should come to you. It should be where the fuck you want the fight at. It doesn't make sense when I hear champions going to Abu Dhabi and England, Australia. If you're the champ, unless that's your backyard, I'm like, nah, dog. They can meet me in Vegas.
Yeah.
It should be set up for me. I've earned this status where it should be set up so I have the most comfort possible. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not opposed to fighting in Australia. It's just I just did an overseas fight. Do I want to do that all over again? 2 weeks, getting there, getting acclimated, and doing all that.
Cutting weight.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Uh-uh.
So it's like, and for me to cut 35 pounds again, and people are gonna call me a weight bully. I'm like, everyone cuts weight, bro. Fucking
Weight
relax.
bully? Jesus Christ.
I'm like, I'm too small for 45, but I can go up and compete with some of those guys. Doesn't mean I'm gonna be the best in the world at 45. Right now, I'm the best in the world at 135. So it's like, I'm gonna weigh my options. I'm like, I don't want to do that yo-yo to my body because I do think there's negative effects,
100%.
and I want to make sure I'm enjoying my life. I want to make sure I'm setting up the things that I need to set up so that when I'm done, I'm 33. I'm not a 21-year-old bull anymore.
Yeah.
I got injuries. I tweaked my rib, beating the shit out of TJ. I don't know how. I don't know how.
Probably from
later in that night, yeah, just having my figure four,
Yeah.
and the way I was twisting those punches. I woke up. Not woke up. Later that night, I was like, dude, what the fuck happened? Like, how do
Did
I
you tear like the ligament or something in the ribs there?
I got the X-ray. Nothing was torn.
Just sore.
Just sore. So I guess that's just it. Thank God. So that'll heal up in time. I haven't trained yet, and at the end of the day, it's all about maximizing your time in the sun.
Yep.
You know. So if anyone doesn't understand that, think about it like that. If you have a job opportunity, you're gonna make sure you can maximize that opportunity. If it's a small window. Like I said, I could lose my next fight, and then pay-per-view points are gone out the window.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for coming, pat on the ass.
Correct.
We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Let us know when you want to compete
Then you
again.
have no leverage.
That's it. You know,
Then you're fighting Henry Cejudo in freaking Tijuana or some shit.
I'll do
somewhere
these
you don't
3-round
wanna be.
fights all day long.
Yeah,
But
man.
a 5-round training
different
camp,
animal.
it's a different beast, man. So I got a little bit of injuries that I got to take care of. I got this partially torn bicep tendon that I have. I got to get that rehab, get this thing stronger.
And how's the neck?
The neck's way better, night and day. Thank God. I wish I did it earlier.
Yeah.
Because it would have saved me a lot of pain and agony going through those training camps that I had in the beginning of my UFC career.
Yeah.
And I got through them, but Eventually, the straw that broke the camel's back was me getting slammed on my head by Jan.
Yep.
And then, what was the other one? The fight ending knee.
Yep.
You know, and yeah, so it is what it is, man.
And going to Jan, how do you feel? Jan was talking that he feels disrespected and he feels like there's something's up with him. You know, the decisions to you, losing in those the split decision, then losing to Sugar. He's like, I want to take my talent elsewhere outside the UFC. My whole thing with that is, you know, I don't really get how you can feel that way, because it's not like it was your fight wasn't a robbery. The Sugar Sean fight wasn't a robbery. Close fights, not a robbery. It's not like you beat the hell out of the guy for 5 rounds and then it went the opposite way. So they're close fights, so he can see how people can allude to that he lost the fights.
Yeah. I don't really understand his rationale on that. I think it was right after the fight, so maybe he didn't watch it yet. A little emotional.
Yeah, I get
which
that.
we all get. And I can see for him, you do all that work, the training, you make the trip, the sacrifices, leaving your family, and then the fight doesn't go your way in a close fight, and you feel like you've been slighted. But when he goes back and he watches it, if he tries to be outside of himself, which you have to be if you want to progress, you can see why you lost the fight.
Correct.
And I thought Jan won the fight when I watched it in the back room by a close margin. I went back and I watched it as a judge.
Yep.
I go,
That's what
by
I
the
did.
scoring criteria, I think O'Malley won the
Agree.
fight.
And for Peter Yan too, it's also he's still top 3 in the world. Like whoever they give him next, I feel sorry for. You know, unless it goes to the judge's card. Am I right? But no, I feel bad for whoever he has to fight next. Like, don't get it twisted. Just because he lost to you and he lost to Sugar, like that guy is no joke.
You're losing
man.
to the best guys in the
Oh,
world.
and he's a nightmare of a matchup.
Yeah,
Nothing's easy with that fucking
He
guy.
beat Corey Sandhagen in a 5-round war. Now, let me not call it a war. 5-round fight where he got stronger as the fight went on, and it showed his brilliance, and it showed why he was a former champion, and why he's a threat to anybody in this division or even in the world.
He's such a beast.
Yeah.
Such a beast. So for you mentioned 145, and we'll get you out of here after this. You mentioned 145, how there'd be no reason, you know, you're doing the thing at 35, best in the world at 35. But we're in this day and age of, you know, double champ. Does that cross your mind to go up to 45?
Yeah, but this division is so deep,
It's
it'll
so
be really
stacked.
hard to be a double champ, because then it's like, when are you going to defend the 135-pound belt? And I can see how that can be messy. I would have to fight, have another quick fight, and then I could be like, okay, I can make a quick turnaround and go to 45 where I'm not cutting as much weight.
It depends how long you want to fight for, because let's say you fight Sugar next. Let's say it goes your way. You beat Sugar. Then Henry Cejudo's there. Then you clear out those two. You beat Peter Yan, right? You beat Corey Sandhagen. I could see an argument there, like, let's go to 45 for the big name fight. Especially if Volkanovski were to beat Makhachev, which is it's a tough gig.
Swimming upstream right there. That's
Yeah.
a tough one. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but he's definitely swimming upstream for that. Whenever you're dealing with a 10-pound weight allowance, Makhachev's a big dude.
Well, I'll get to that fight after that. I'd love your thoughts on that fight.
Yeah.
But 45, is that industry at all? Jumping up there? See the fight?
100%. There's a lot of good fights at 45 for me. And I trained with the kid Bryce Mitchell multiple
I
times.
love Bryce.
And he's a tough dude. He doesn't cut the most weight for 45, which gives me confidence that I could come in and do some good things at that weight as well. He's tough, he's durable. He takes guys down and he makes it look like almost like effortless what he does to
He's
these
undefeated.
guys. Yeah. So that gives me
God,
confidence.
I'd love to watch you guys grapple.
Oh, it's so fun.
Bryce is a beast.
There's a couple of good like footage on us, and that's why I get confidence from things like that. So, and then I see these guys doing well. Bryce is such a down to earth, good dude overall.
Such a good kid, man. Such a good dude.
Yeah,
He gets a little wild with certain things, which I find funny.
Strong American.
Dude, the strongest, which I vibe with and I love, but then he came on my show, I'm like, oh, we're going to get demonetized. Yeah. Like, some of the shit you're talking about. I love him, and then he was going after Rogan he's like, call me a dumbass for being a flat earther. He's like, I challenge you to debate. I'm like, Bryce, you don't want these problems, bro.
Yeah.
Like, debating Rogan's a bad idea, my man, especially
Rogan.
on flat earth.
Yeah, Rogan comes prepared.
Yes.
Which
yes.
I don't even know how he has time to do all that research, because I don't have the time to do that shit.
In his stuff, it's not like he's just researching, you know, a fighter coming up or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's sitting down with like Jordan Peterson and Elon Musk and shit. Like, he's just a different level, man.
What's that astronaut guy? The black dude.
Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil- yeah, that guy. Yeah, so
super smart.
The fact that Joe knows half of those things, I'm like, dude, you are 10 times smarter than I probably ever will be or have time to be. Maybe when I'm done fighting, I can learn the way he does with podcasting.
I would like to be positive and say we could both get there like Rogan. But he's just a freak, man. He knows something about everything.
Yeah, which is
The way he downloads data and then can regurgitate in his own in the way he can do it.
Yeah.
It's just like I've never seen it.
He's like,
he's so good. Yeah,
interesting.
He'll go, interesting. And then he'll like have a point, and then like he'll stump like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like Jesus Christ, dog.
Yeah.
Where me, I just like fuck Mars, bro.
Yeah, that's
Talk
it.
to us about Mars.
That's it.
He's all, that's it. I'm like, yeah, that's all you got for you.
Yeah,
but
145 would be interesting. I think there's a lot of good fights. And I just watched
145 thick too.
Yeah. What was the kid who just won? Arnold Allen.
Arnold Allen, he's my dark horse.
Wow.
For that division.
That guy's scary.
That guy's scary.
Yeah.
That guy's a problem.
What he did to Cater, and I know there's a little bit of an injury, whatever, but he was pretty much on cruise control.
See what he did to Dan Hooker too?
Yeah.
The kid's a problem.
Yeah.
I think his dad's a strong man.
Yeah.
Dad's a strong man.
Yeah, so that'd be a tough fight, man. So there's a lot of challenges at that weight class.
Fun, right?
They're
That'd
fun.
be fun, dude.
And that scares
fun
me.
for me to watch.
Yeah.
Horrible for
me.
you.
For me, I'm like, this fight might
Yeah,
hurt.
it's fun,
that
but
fight
yeah,
might be painful.
Yeah, nightmare.
I might be in the hospital after this one.
Nah,
yeah.
you got this.
Yeah.
But as far as again, I keep saying we're gonna end on this, but I promise to end on this. But as far as Makhachev and Volkanovski, I can see ways maybe Volkanovski can pull it off. On the outside with his kicks being an issue, he'll have speed advantage. I do think people will be surprised how strong Volkanovski is.
Mm-hmm.
That dude is a tank. He used to be 220 pounds.
Yeah.
Like first team all thick. Yeah. I told him if he gets back thick, I'll sponsor him. He like refuses to get fat. So he, I think he'll have some speed advantages. I think technique-wise, but when it comes to wrestling and boxing, with Makhachev, him going forward, I think stamina is going to be cardio is going to be on Volkanovski's side. It's just. I was never that high on Makhachev. Like, everyone told me how good he was, and I hate when people tell me how good a guy is. I'm like, I'm not seeing it yet, bro. Like, best of all time. Like, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
And then when I saw what he did against Charles Oliveira, I was like, you guys went bullshitting. This dude is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's going to be reigning champ for quite some time.
If he wants to be, yeah, he can be. Tough fight. I think the stylistic matchup, I think the speed, the feints of Volkanovski, he does this like level change thing where it's so subtle but quick twitch movements.
Yeah.
And he will do that inside leg kick, utilize that, and he'll just keep touching, kind of get you to a little bit frustrated, pull out your attack, and then he'll be able to tie you up, or he'll land that 1-2 that he does so well. He's a small dude, so he punches up.
Yeah.
But he does a great job of doing that. His timing is always on point.
His cardio is ridiculous.
He impressed me with the Aldo fight, how he shut him down systematically. I was just like, man, Aldo had nothing for him. Like, no answers after just coming off these highlight reel knockouts.
Even Max Holloway.
Yeah.
Like, when they did that one, I told him, I said, I think you need to get over that Max Holloway hump because he has such a big fan base.
Yeah.
In order to just put that behind you, like, you just got to beat him. He's like, yeah, if they want to do it, we're down to do it. Then he did it. And to me, that wasn't like a weathered Max Holloway.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was more of a product of that's how fucking good Alex Volkanovski is.
Yeah, so
it's not like Max Holloway's that bad. That motherfucker's a savage.
Yeah, people have a hard time differentiating between that. Like,
Correct.
They won't give the credit where it's due. Like, they'll say, like, maybe something was off with this guy when it's like, no, motherfucker, this guy's just
That's how
actually
good
that
that
damn
guy
good.
is that night. He's that good.
So, yeah, I think that's a very interesting fight. I think the size advantage would definitely play towards Makhachev, I think, obviously. But
The wrestling.
yeah,
the problem.
But I haven't seen nobody hold Volkanovski down, like, whatsoever. He's explosive.
Never. He's built like a fire hydrant.
Unless they get on his back. I mean, we haven't seen that yet.
We haven't seen
I know
that.
a guy who
I know
might
a
be
guy
able to
who's
get
pretty
on-
good at getting on bags.
Yeah.
Pause. But I know a guy who's really good at taking bags.
Yeah, so
Best in the world.
Yeah.
Best in the UFC, man.
I'm excited for that. Hopefully they do make it happen, and I think there's nothing wrong with someone chasing greatness. And again, for me, I always try to build people up because this is such a brutal sport in the sense of, like, you're here one day, out of sight, out of mind the next minute, and you could be on a high, and then one day you could go on this crazy losing streak and just be done. So I like to see these guys when they're at top capitalize when they can capitalize on, and hopefully they can go out there and impress if he doesn't win.
Yep.
But it's an interesting fight. If I had to be honest, I'd take Makhachev. I'm
It's
a Makhachev
tough.
believer now.
And me too. Yeah, he's a savage.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, dear God, Volkanovski, please. I love Volkanovski.
Yeah.
But, these Dagestanians are coming, man.
And they're big.
Dagestanians, Georgians, your
Yeah.
boy, Marab.
Yeah. And I appreciate Khabib recognizing what I do when I take guys down in that top pressure situation.
Oh, did Khabib say something?
He was like, I'm the best in the world in this position. This is where I pretty much excel. And he said that. I thought
Anyone
that was
that
pretty cool.
doesn't say that's just a hater.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
just say I'm just holding. I'm like, all right, let me do this to you and see what happens.
But also, Khabib says that, the guy knows a thing or two about control.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got big things. to me, it's like, yeah, I'm on the outside looking on. I'm proud of you, man. You're doing all this stuff outside the octagon. But when you look at your career, the Peter Yan fights, you look what you did against TJ Dillashaw, and you look what you have coming up, whether it's Sugar, Henry Cejudo, you got Chito Vera looming back there, so you have an opportunity to just like kind of set yourself apart from all of it, man. You have the skill set to beat all of them.
No, I appreciate
that.
that.
Which is so dope, man.
I mean, the only guys I haven't fought that I have fought that weren't ranked was Taquino Mendez, and I think that was really it. I think everybody else I fought was ranked, since my third UFC fight. Yep. Everybody else was within that top 15, so I think there should be some credit due or given.
I think they have you at like number 6 pound for pound rankings.
I don't really look at that. I look at it when it's there, but I don't like even pay that anymore.
Also, how you know? Because if it was legit, then just the heaviest guy in the world would be number 1.
Yeah.
Like, you tell me Volkanovski can beat up Francis?
Yeah. Well, I guess they're saying pound for pound. If you were the same size, who would win based on skill set? I think that's how they do it.
No, it's stupid. Right?
Yeah. I do have to say though, I did listen to the podcast. So, you gave TJ a lot of props.
Remember, he's my boy.
I'm gonna have to break your balls a little bit.
No, you should. You should. He's my boy. You know what the problem is now? The problem is now is because this is your 3rd time on the show. But this, like, you're one of my favorites, and also you got a great podcast. You're doing your thing. TJ's a close friend.
Yeah.
So my whole pitch on that, right, when I do the show, my whole narrative on that is like, this is why you should root for TJ, because it's a comeback story. Like, we all love a comeback story. And you were like, cool story, check this out, and then beat the shit out of my friend. And now you're here and he's not.
Yeah.
But I love the fight game. Matter of fact, I love you so much. I always ask my boys at Suplex to send a pair of shoes for all the fighters on Food Truck. And I said, dude, we got Aljo coming on. He's champ. And they're like, we know who he is. I'm like, all right, be cool. Be less sensitive. But I was like, I need a special shoe, man. And this is a shoe. I'm trying to think who we've had on who's champ. Maybe Izzy, but that was years ago. We had Francis on, but he wore like a size 19. So he got a weird shoe. He got a weird shoe. He got like a giant Ugg boot. And I drew a Nike sign on it. No, he got some cool shoes. But these are made for a champ. And this just says, Mr. Sterling, big fans here at the shop. Being that you're the world champ, we figured it's only appropriate we laced you with these world champ dunks. Please wear and enjoy. They got to be the only dunks that come with a championship belt.
Oh, shit.
Diamond encrusted.
Oh, look at that. And it's snake skin for skinning the snake.
Bro, I didn't even think of that.
Hashtag skin the snake, baby. Look at that.
Suplex, a champion shoe for a champ, and it's lined with some purple in there.
I like the purple.
These bad boys are hard to come by.
My very first T-shirt that I made when I first started was purple and lime green.
Love it.
Which is what I'm wrapping my Tesla.
So sick.
And then I have I got a Camry too in Vegas, but my Tesla's my baby.
Wrap the Tesla. Super hood.
It's
gonna
be
Tesla.
Yeah, it's gonna be midnight purple with lime green, like accent
dope.
marks on it. And this is dope. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for hooking up. What's the company?
Suplex in Philly.
Suplex. Thank you.
And you're not too far from there, but these shoes, man. So they go, man, we can try and find a 13. I said, I'm not world champ, man. Just send these for Aljo.
Is there like a name for these, like a edition? Or?
Yeah, these are the Nike Dunk Low Retro World Champs. Literally, I swear to God, World Champs.
Sick.
Literally, the Nike Dunk Low Retro World Champs.
1-on-1?
1-on-1 for you. I mean, listen, if you're not world champ, you can't wear them. So there's only select few. You're the best, brother.
Appreciate it.
Keep doing your thing, man.
I'm gonna try.
I'm never. And now you're not fighting TJ anymore. He's probably not getting back there. I'm never gonna pick against you. You got my word. I'm a believer. I'm an Aljo believer. I love you. You know this.
I like
you got the champ shoes now.
I like when people pick against me because it makes me work that much harder.
Yeah.
I do like it.
Yeah. You really beat the shit out of some guys. Well, that's the champ. Aljo, we love you, man. Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you guys.
If you're into Thick Boys, like, subscribe, comment, and God bless America. Well, that's not my big one. Just kidding.